So, you know how I always try my best to give you guys the best tips when it comes to personal finances and when it comes to managing your funds? Well, there is a particular trend that is back that actually people like way back, my parents, my grandparents usually use. But now it has a fancier name. And thanks to social media, TikTok, it's a trend that is back for the better amongst younger generation. And it's a way to actually help you to keep track of your expenses and also to help you build financial stability. So if you haven't heard about this trend, it's called cash stuffing. If you haven't heard about it, well, you're hearing about it right now. And it just has a fancy name, basically. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about cash stuffing, how you can go about introducing this into your daily lifestyle and how this can help you to become more mindful of spending and taking charge of your financial life. So keep watching as I dive into the benefits and the pros of this method. Hi guys, my name is Rachel from My Financial Oasis, your financial guidance to living the life of your dream. Today, like I said, I'm going to be teaching you about cash stuffing, the benefits of cash stuffing, the pros, and how you can incorporate cash stuffing into your life. Let's begin with what is cash stuffing. Cash stuffing is basically budgeting that prefers physical cash over paying for expenses with your debit card or your credit card. It's basically a budgeting method that privileges cash over cards. So it's like I said, it's a system that's been in existence for a long time, but thanks to social media, TikTok, in a video that went viral and people are beginning to embrace it again, especially the younger adults. With the increase in inflation, it's just easier for you with cash stuffing. It's easier for you to keep track of your expenses and cut down on unnecessary costs. Now let's go into how cash stuffing works. So basically, it's you setting aside a certain amount each month, either at the beginning of the month, if you usually get your paycheck at the end of the month, or at the end of the month, if you get your paycheck at the end of the month. So you know there are people who get paid like on the 22nd or the 23rd of the month. So if that is you, you're going to set aside certain amount that you're going to spend from that date till the next paycheck. So with cash stuffing, what you need to do is set aside different budgets, different categories of expenses that will carry you throughout the month. And the goal or the aim of cash stuffing is to ensure that you do not spend beyond the specific amount allocated to each category. That's basically the goal of it. So it helps you, if you're not someone who is exactly disciplined when it comes to budgets, this is going to force you to become disciplined. So what you do basically is you get your cash for whatever budget you've made for the month. So you put your cash into envelopes or fancy organizers, and that way you are seeing it. So if you put, let's say, $400 into your envelope for grocery, as you're spending the money, you are seeing how it's going. So you know, okay, I have only $200 left in my grocery envelope. I have to reduce how much I've spent because it's just halfway through the month. I still have 2 weeks left, so I have to manage. So it's just basically, you can see it. Unlike when you're using your credit card or your debit card, and you might lose track of how much you have spent. It has happened to me a lot of the time. I say, okay, I only want to spend this amount this month. But then, oh, I want to buy this. It's easy for me to just say, oh, take my card, take the payment from there, take my card. And then I sit down and I'm like, where did all my money go to? And I start to calculate and I find out that I've gone beyond what I wanted to for that month. But if I start practicing cash stuffing earlier, I know that when I go into the envelope for grocery, this is what is left. This is how much I want to spend. If I spend more than that, then I don't have any money left for grocery for that month. The same way if I go into the envelope for fine dining and I exhaust everything at once, and okay, for the rest of the month, there's no going out to eat. I have to eat in the house. So it's like you can see it. You know how sometimes you look at your bank account and you're like, oh, right, I still have money. Meanwhile, that money is supposed to be broken down into different categories for different needs. But because you've seen it as a lump sum, you feel like, oh, I still have money, let me buy that. Oh, I still have money, let me buy that. Or like when you break it down into envelopes, You can see, okay, this is money for this. Once I exhaust this, that's it. If you want to try out cash stuffing, there is a process or there's a procedure that you should follow that would help you do it the right way. And I'm going to talk about that right now. The first step is to apportion your expenses into different categories. So you put needs, you put wants, you put paying off debt, you put saving, just divide them already into categories. And a good way to do this is to use the 50-30-20 rule. I've talked about this rule in my previous video that I'm going to link right here so you can watch that. So basically, the basic of that is that 50% goes into your needs. So everything that you need to survive, 30% goes into your wants, and 20% goes to your saving. That's the very first thing that you need to do. The next thing for you to do is to label your envelopes, your organizers, your fancy looking books, or whatever it is that you want to save your money in. So this envelope is written grocery. So this is for grocery. And then this is for rent. So you label each envelope like that based off what you want each envelope to hold. So money for rent, money for grocery, money for fine dining, money for maybe a fancy whatever. Just basically break them down like that into categories. Now, when you get your paycheck, you withdraw enough that you need. And a good way to do this, I talked about this in my previous video, is to look at your expenses over the last 3 months. How much did you spend over the last 3 months? Did you should be on your budget? If you did, what you want to do is to try to reduce how much you're going to withdraw so that you don't have excess cash just tempting you around and then you're like, oh, let me buy this, let me buy that. That's not what you want. So withdraw just as much as you need. Don't take more than what you need. As soon as you put the money into the envelopes that you have labeled, you ensure that throughout the month, each envelope is used for what it was tagged for. So you can't be taking out money for rent to buy the fancy bag. Nope. Or you can't be taking out money for grocery to fine dining. No, that's not that's just entirely defeats the purpose of why you're doing that. So get your envelope, get your organizers, get your fancy tag, just get anything that you want to use that will work for you and stuff money into that envelope. The goal is to make sure that that envelope does not run out before the month ends. That is the goal. So if you have, you know how when you put $500, for example, for grocery, every time you take out money to get grocery, you see the money slowly diminish. So from 500, you took 100, becomes 400. From 400, you took 100, becomes 300, and slowly goes down like that. The aim is to ensure that you do not spend up to the point that before the month ends, you are flat out. So you want to either just, in fact, if you can even have some left when the month ends, then fantastic. You have started learning how to become more prudent when it comes to buying things. So that is what you are aiming for. That's what you should aim for. Not that before the month ends, you've exhausted everything in that envelope and you're like, I need money for grocery. Should I take money from my saving to buy grocery? That is not what you want. That entirely defeats the purpose of cash stuffing. Now, for you to see a huge change or a huge difference when it comes to expenses, ensure you do this every month. So every month you do this. Every month you do this before your paycheck comes in. Okay, this is money for rent. I put money for rent here. I put money for this. Now, this not only helps you when it comes to your general everyday expenses, but it also helps you when you have like a target in mind. So, for example, you want to write an exam. You want to take an exam and you need to pay for that exam. You can use cash stuffing to save up money for that exam. So you say, okay, every week I put in $50. Every week I put in $50 into this envelope for exam. And then slowly you just see that money begins to grow. So it's a way for you to also build wealth. And it's also a great way for you to save for bigger projects. Next, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of cash stuffing. Like, why should I practice cash stuffing over using my credit cards or my debit cards? I mean, am I not going back to so let's talk about why cash stuffing seems like a better option. Not so better, but it's a more disciplined approach when it comes to saving. The first point is that it gives you an increased awareness of your spending. With cash stuffing, it's easy for you to see where this money went to. It's easy for you to see where you're spending more money, where you need to cut down on. So if before you just pay for this, pay for that, pay for this, pay for that, there is no exact budget. You just, this month I budget $50 for this, I budget $50 for that, but you can't keep track of how did I spend that $50? What did it go into? With cash stuffing, it's easy for you to keep tabs of where did this $50 go to? Okay, I bought this with this, I bought that with that, or I took money from this to buy that. So that's one advantage that cash stuffing gives you. Another benefit of using cash stuffing is that it prevents you accumulating debt. So because everything you have to pay for under cash stuffing, you're using cash to pay for them, it means that you don't rack up more debt when you try to pay with your credit card. That for me is a great way to stay out of debt, especially if you are just starting out. You're a young person who just finished school, who is hustling, who is trying to make it. You don't want to start off by getting into that. That just pulls you back like 20 times or even 100 times. With cash stuffing, your chances of going into that is limited. It's reduced by like 100%. And another benefit of the cash stuffing is that it helps reduce financial stress. So if you are someone who you do everything yourself, you're working and all your expense, you have to take care of it by yourself. You don't have parents, you don't have siblings, you don't have anyone who's exactly helping you. With cash stuffing, it kind of help you relieve the financial stress. Before you get your paycheck, you already have an idea of, okay, this is how much I'm spending here. This is how much I'm going to save. This is how much I'm going to have left. This is what I'm going to use this for. So there's this sense of peace that you get when you're like, okay, with whatever I get this month, I'm able to survive. I'm able to pay for my rent, so I won't be out on the street. I'm able to buy groceries, so I'm not going to be hungry. I'm able to buy that phone I've always wanted to get. I'm able to buy that laptop. I'm able to buy that. Just it gives the sense of financial peace and stability that you wouldn't get if you are not organized. Let's talk about the disadvantage of cash stuffing. And then when we weigh both of them, we'll now decide which of them is a better option. One disadvantage of cash stuffing is keeping cash in the house. That means if your house gets boggled or anything of such, you might lose valuables, you might lose your money, you might lose your life saving, or you might just lose money generally. So if you budgeted to have this money spent in the month and then you get robbed or something happens or you have a fire outbreak in the house, it means that money might go down the drain. Yes. So that is one disadvantage of cash stuffing. Some people say cash stuffing is time consuming, but I don't exactly agree with that. They say the time to start budgeting for the month, you have to sit down and calculate every penny, that it's time consuming. I don't think it's time consuming. I just think it's necessary. It's a necessary habit that you need to form if you want to become financially independent, if you want to be as frugal as possible, if you want to build financial stability. You have to plan your finances. You can't just be spending money like you don't have any care whatsoever in the world. So I don't think that idea of that is time consuming that doesn't hold water, if you ask me. Another disadvantage of cash stuffing is that it can be tempting sometimes to overspend because, you're seeing the cash. You might be like, don't worry, I'll take money from this. Next month when I get paid, I'll replace it. So it can be very tempting to want to spend more than you should, but that is where I would say discipline comes in. So you have to be extremely disciplined. You have to tell yourself, if I spend here, if I take money for what is not supposed to be and I spend it on this, I am going to suffer. So if you think about it in that way, it would help you to be more disciplined. It will help you to be like, okay, no, you know what? No matter how pressing this need is, I would hold on. When I get my next paycheck, I would use that to cover for whatever it is. So again, it's about you. It's about you when it comes to this disadvantage I just mentioned. It's still about you again, about discipline, about making conscious decision and saying, no, this is not supposed to be for this, this is for this. And the last disadvantage is that you are going to be missing out on earning interest. If you put your money into a savings account, or a financial market that gives you interest. So if you had left your money in there, you might have stayed earning interest on it. But if we really look at it, how much interest the banks give? If you're thinking about putting your money into a market that gives you compounding interest, that's a different story. But if it's just saving it in a savings account, how much interest do you actually earn from banks? So if we weigh the cons and we weigh the pros, personally, I feel like the pros hold more water than the cons. So, but that is up to you. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think the pro outweigh the con, or the con outweighs the pro? And let me know if you are going to be practicing this in the comment section. Let's talk about people who cash stuffing is going to be very beneficial for. Now, if you're someone who finds it very difficult to keep track of your spending, cash stuffing is definitely great for you. It's a great idea that you should try. At least try it once and see if it makes a difference. Also, if you're someone who's trying to prevent accumulating debt on your credit card, you want to try cash stuffing, because that just kind of keeps you in check and you say, okay, I'm not going to use my card to pay for anything. Everything has to be with cash. So you might want to try that out. In my opinion, I would say you can use both cash stuffing and also the bank at the same time. So you can use cash stuffing for organizing your needs and your wants, and then you keep your money saved in the bank, which is your 20% if you're using the 50-30-20 rule. So that way, you know that it's only your expenses that is in the house, but then your saving, which you are keeping for future use, is saved in the bank, and you can also still earn interest on that. So I don't see why you can try both of them hand in hand. So you're using both of them together and you're still able to accomplish what you want to do. Also, I should mention that practicing cash stuffing doesn't mean that you will automatically become disciplined. It doesn't mean that you would automatically stop wanting to overspend, but it just gives you a physical idea of your situation. So you know, if I spend this last $100, that's it. There's nothing left. So that kind of job like hits your brain and you're like, is it really necessary? So that's basically like the benefit of cash stuffing. If you watched this video to this point and you've enjoyed it or you've learned one or two things, give me a thumbs up so that I know that you've actually enjoyed it. And if you're not subscribed yet to my channel, hit that subscribe button so that you become a part of my family. You should also hit the post notification bell so that YouTube personally notifies you every time I drop a similar video just like this. And like I said, let me know in the comment section if you are going to try this, if you feel like the cons outweigh the pro, or if the pro outweighs the con, and if you are going to be trying this anytime soon. And with that, I would say, remember, your financial freedom begins with you. Bye. See you in my next video.